How's it going, everybody? It's Prod here, bringing you guys a new Q&A video, and it hasn't been like 2 months, so it's only been a couple weeks since I did the last one, but we do got a couple questions here. If you guys have any of your own questions that you guys would like to ask me, feel free to leave that in the comment section down below. I feel like one of the hardest things to do is get questions and get a bunch of questions, so feel free to leave yours in the comment section as well. So to start things off, we got a question that asks, do you think they will make Bloodborne 2 or Dark Souls 4, and if they did, which one would you prefer? So those are two different questions, very different questions in my opinion. So we'll start off with which one would I prefer, because there's a lot of different things about those games. Obviously they have a lot of different things to them, especially if you compare something like Dark Souls 3 to Bloodborne. I love both of them. I fucking love Bloodborne. It's probably one of my favorite games ever, but the thing I don't really like about that game is the PvP. I'm not a huge fan of the PvP in Bloodborne. I never really got into it that much. I felt like just the invading was a little bit boring. There was never really like a true summoning system. It was all about the invasions, and there was some weapons that fucking dominated, and if you didn't have those weapons, you were just straight up not going to beat them. There was some weapons that were just too damn good in that game, and especially for somebody like me who already wasn't great at PvP in that game. And Dark Souls 3 has a great PvE experience, but I do think that it doesn't really compare to Bloodborne. Now that is just, of course, my opinion. Everybody has different opinions on the PvE experiences of each game. I would say that Dark Souls 1 is my favorite because it was the first, and I think that just when it comes to world building and the pacing of the game, so far in the Soulsborne series, no game has done it better than Dark Souls 1. And then second to that is Bloodborne. I love the environment of Bloodborne. I love the whole dark aesthetic of the entire world. But I feel like, honestly, if they got their shit correct with the PvP, like a proper, maybe a summoning system, kind of like we see in Dark Souls 3, and it wasn't just about invasions and the PvP was actually good, I think if they got their shit straight with that, I think that I would prefer Bloodborne 2. If they kept the dark world, the dark theme of the game with the amazing boss designs that we had in the first one, I think I would rather see Bloodborne 2. But then again, if it was just the same thing, we're going to get the same type of style of PvP, because that's mainly where I'm going to put most of my time in there. I do think Dark Souls 4 would be something that I would prefer a lot more. But either way, will they get made? I honestly don't think so. We've gotten confirmation from Miyazaki himself. Bloodborne is not going to happen, at least not under his watch and under his direction. Same goes for Dark Souls 4, before we had Dark Souls 3 is the very last one. From Software's not making any more. And then, you had that, holy shit, this game sold a lot of copies. And then they're like, maybe in the future we'll have another Dark Souls, but again, like Bloodborne 2, it may not be directed by Miyazaki himself. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't really mind. I love Miyazaki's directing, but having another game, maybe even by the same team that made Dark Souls 2, that would be super fucking awesome. I would still love that, no matter what. I would get it. And if it was anything like Dark Souls 2, a lot of people hate it, a lot of people hate that game, but I personally love Dark Souls 2. I absolutely love the PvP in that game. It would probably be pretty damn good. And I'm kind of curious to see your guys' opinions. Which one would you rather have, Dark Souls 4 or Bloodborne 2? But now we go ahead and move on to another question asking us about Nioh and For Honor, which basically just asks, what will you do if Nioh and For Honor suck? Like I did say, I am going to be uploading at least For Honor. Nioh is going to be a game that I do want to upload. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because, it doesn't have any PvP or multiplayer. Actually, it does have multiplayer, but it's not like player versus player things. It's mainly summoning to do co-op and stuff like that. And something like a playthrough on the game would be extremely long. And when it comes to For Honor, it is a mainly multiplayer based game. You also got the story, which I believe they released a trailer for recently. But I am not going all in to these games. They're going to be games that I play. They're going to be games that I upload. I'm going to try to be fairly consistent with those games. They may not be videos that I do every single day. Obviously, I'll still keep up the Dark Souls 3 daily videos. And then you guys are also going to see a couple of For Honor and maybe a couple of Nioh live streams and videos in between those two. But if they suck, I guess there's really nothing you can do about it. You just play them or don't play them. Because there are some games that people say, they suck, like Dark Souls 2. And I still played the shit out of that game. So if it's a similar situation like that where a lot of people hate it, but then a lot of people realize that it's actually pretty freaking good, then I really wouldn't mind. But if it actually does suck, I'm not going all into this game. It's gonna be a game that I play mainly for fun. And I guess we'll see here, because there's a closed beta happening soon, probably within the next few weeks. And the game itself comes out here in February, within the same week as Neo. So that's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be packed as hell. But either way, I'm very excited for both of those games, but don't really think it'll be a huge deal if either of them suck. At least for me personally. On to the next question, which asks, have you ever thought about participating in a Dark Souls 3 tournament? What happened to those, by the way? They were happening like every month or something like that when the game was fairly fresh. Even like a couple months back, they were still kind of happening. I haven't seen anything about any new Dark Souls 3 tournaments anytime soon. So I don't even know if they're still a thing, but I guess it would have to be a specific tournament if I would have to enter. Like, I wouldn't just enter any tournament. And it's not because of like people in it or something like that. I guess it's just time. If it lines up and I got some time to do it, and it's like, you know, a bunch of people are going to be entering this tournament. A lot of good people. Some big names as well. Like, we had one a couple months back. You had like Ouroboros. You had Scott Jund. You had Praise the Sun. You had these guys in it. That would have been awesome. But I'm pretty sure that was that invitational? I'm not really sure if that was invitational or that was basically like tryouts or whatever. But if it was something like that, I would love to. But honestly, I would probably get fucking destroyed. You know, there's a lot of people who are really damn good. Like, I'm pretty sure somebody who won that tournament, that specific tournament, was maybe somebody who didn't even make videos and was just some dude that was friends with maybe the guy who hosted the tournament, and he won. But it just goes to show that there are some people on Dark Souls 3 that don't have YouTube, don't make videos, but are insanely good. There's always going to be people who are way better than the people you see on YouTube. Hell, there's people on YouTube better than me, so I think it could be fun. Maybe one day if there is a tournament ever in the future and they ask me, do you want to be a part of it, and I get some time, then yeah, I would love to be honest. I think it would be a lot of fun to play at like an actual competitive level of this game, even though that kind of doesn't exist, because for the most part it really just depends on the weapon you're using and the build you're using, which is kind of sad. But hey, that's the type of game Dark Souls 3 is. I don't even know where I would begin with that, you know, what weapon I would use, what build I would use. I guess it would be something that I would come across when that would happen, but will it ever happen? I'm not sure, man. I'm not really sure. And for the last question, it is a question that I do get asked a bunch, which is, any chances you will ever play on PC? Now, at the moment, I have a Mac, and you can't really run many games on a Mac, which sucks. One of those games obviously being Dark Souls 3. If I could and I had a PC, I would play on PC probably, and I would try to play with some people on PC. It was the same thing for PS4. I mainly played on the Xbox One, and then I was always getting questions, you know, because I did have a PS4 already. I was always getting questions, are you ever going to play on PS4? A couple months back I decided, hey, I should probably get it on PS4. It was only like 80 bucks or whatever, and it was probably going to make a lot of people happy because they were going to be able to play and participate in videos and streams and stuff like that. And I was going to be able to play with a lot more people. And I did end up getting it, and now it's like my main console because I can do all these back saves, basically infinite builds or whatever. And that was a great idea. But obviously I already had the PS4. Will I ever play on PC? Will I ever actually get a good PC that could run Dark Souls 3 well and capture video really well and stuff like that? I'm not really sure, man. Because that's a lot of money to invest in a PC for one game. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you could also do a bunch of different stuff on it. It's a fucking computer. And there was one point, and I think that was during Black Friday, where me and my brother almost bought a really powerful PC, but it was going to be a shit ton of money. And we kind of looked at it and we're like, you know, we just don't really need it. What we really want to do is kind of like stream on it, but we just didn't see it as a good investment considering how much money it was going to be. But either way, maybe a chance in the future that I'll come on PC and I'll play with some of you guys on PC and Dark Souls 3 and stuff, but maybe by that time Dark Souls 3 will be long gone. Dark Souls 5 will be out by that time, so I guess we'll see, man. Either way, that is going to do it for today's Q&A video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you want to see more Q&A videos, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like on the video. And if you have your own questions, leave that in the comment section down below as well. But that's going to be it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace, everybody.